Welcome to the Last Roundup Horror Show Companion. I'm Frank, and thanks for tuning in. This is basically just a bonus episode that is hopefully going to link episode 2 to episode 3. I don't know if it will properly, but I'm hoping so. I have some material that's going to kind of wrap up episode 2 and preface episode 3. So what I have in store this bonus episode is an interview with John Russo from back in 2004 when Ken Newman had a chance to sit down with him and have a discussion. He is the writer, of course, of Night of the Living Dead. Also from Night of the Living Dead, we have an interview with George Kosana, who unfortunately has passed away since this interview happened back in 2014, but he was the production manager and also played the sheriff in the movie. If you'll remember the cleanup crew that was going around cleaning up all the bodies and shooting all the zombies and shit, he was the sheriff. So a lot of memorable scenes with him in the film. But in addition to that, I've got some bonus footage from Deathgasm. It's like an interview at South by Southwest. I want to play some of that, some clips out of that. That was one of our favorite films from the last episode, so I want to wrap that up a little bit more. And then I'm going to play the trailers for the upcoming show. So I hope everybody is down for that. I'm gonna also take the time to sit down with my co-host Jason Miller and kind of get the behind the scenes on how he got into horror in the first place. So I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. We'll see you in a few days with a regular fucking show. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be right back.
My name's Ken Newman with Zombie Takeover TV, and I'm sitting here with John Russo, which is the co-writer of the play of Night of the Living Dead, correct?
Correct.
All right, now, is there anything you want to tell us about the original screenplay when it first came out? Did you guys run into any kind of loopholes or any obstacles you guys ran into to make that movie?
Well, anytime you make a low-budget movie, there are tons of obstacles. There are more obstacles than things that go smoothly. But we had a talented group of people. We had made tons of TV commercials and industrial films and political documentaries, all kinds of things. Our walls were covered with awards for our work, so we were a very tight-knit production unit. Mm-hmm. There were only about 6 or 7 of us, the main people involved in making the movie, and as far as the filmmakers are concerned. And so we were solidly behind George Romero as the director, and everybody knew what they had to do, and we did it.
Now, you and Romero were pretty good friends before you guys made this movie, correct?
We had been friends since we were 18 years old. George came to Pittsburgh to go to Carnegie Tech, which is now Carnegie Mellon. He was a fine arts major, and I met him a few months after he came to Pittsburgh. We both met Russ Streiner at about the same time when Russ was in a play at the Pittsburgh Playhouse. Mm-hmm. So we all met through a mutual friend, Rudy Ritchie. And so we've been friends ever since we were 18. We're all the same age.
Nice. Now, when it came to making the movie, when the movie came out, how did it do?
The movie was a hit from the start. In fact, the drive-ins had to turn away business. The lines were from the drive-ins up on the hills, if they were up all the way out to major roads like Route 51, which is a major road going into Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. The traffic was backed up out onto the highways. So the movie was a hit from the beginning, and for the first time in history, the theater chain had to take out ads apologizing for having to turn away customers.
Now, I know that that was a pretty big thing back in the day, and people wasn't really approving of that kind of movie, were they?
Well, most people were quite approving. That's why it was a hit. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, the Night of the Living Dead was released about a month before the rating system came out, and that was probably on purpose on the part of the distributor. But really, it's pretty mild compared to what goes on today.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
You know, it was black and white, so the scenes weren't gory bloody. We use chocolate syrup a lot of times for blood.
You guys use the ink and chocolate syrup, right?
Right.
Now, as far as creating the movie, is there anything that you would like to say is your golden egg that you had an idea with that movie? What was your biggest idea that you thought was a hit with that movie?
Well, the two main ideas, I was the one that came up with the idea that they'd be dead people and that they'd be in search of human flesh. Mm-hmm. And without those two ideas, you don't have Night of the Living Dead or anything else in the subgenre. When we made the zombies, we called them ghouls because not every zombie is a ghoul. A ghoul has to go after human flesh, and not all zombies do that. So we made them dead people who were after human flesh, and that struck a chord in people that's still very powerful. And
it makes the
whole thing has never died. It just keeps going.
Now, I liked Night of the Living Dead. Don't get me wrong, but my favorite series was Return of the Living Dead. Mm-hmm. Now, what part did you play with that?
Well, I was the one of the writers on the original script, which was straight horror, and I wrote a novel based on that script, and then we sold the property. Mm-hmm. And then the distributor said you can't do straight horror because straight horror is dead, which is never true. Horror is never dead as long as somebody comes up with a good enough idea, an original concept, or whatever.
Original is what's really important.
So they decided to hire Dan O'Bannon to turn it into a horror comedy, which he did very successfully. And I novelized his script, and so that happens to be this novel. This is a first edition from 1985, released when the movie came out. It was a movie tie-in.
Return of the Living Dead. Now, I remember when Night of the Living Dead had the book, and then Return of the Living Dead was in another series of the book. I remember getting in the library, reading it through, and it felt very different. The two books felt very different. What do you think contributed those two books to be different from each other?
Well, which books are you talking about? Because there are two Return of the Living Dead novels. One is straight horror, and it's in the same flavor as the original Night of the Living Dead. Then you have a novel that I wrote based on Dan O'Bannon's script. I wrote both of them.
Yeah, there's one that you wrote there. There's put both in the same book. Now, when Return of the Living Dead, now they couldn't be killed, could they?
Are you talking about Dan O'Bannon's version or my version?
Well, I guess your version, they could be killed, right?
Yes.
And
they could be killed in O'Bannon's version, I guess. I don't really remember. I novelized it, but it's been a long time, 1985, since I wrote that novel. And so, I don't go back and reread it, but I don't remember it.
All right. Now, you're working on a new project, correct?
I'm always working on new projects.
And what is that?
What is that? There are many, many things. I'm writing a new novel called Movie Rights, R-I-T-E-S, about a movie director whose wife is murdered by the same method used by his fictional horror character. Mm-hmm. And so that makes him a suspect. And he has to get to the root of these murders and find out who's imitating his fictional iconic movie character. He's a character in the vein of Freddy Krueger, sort of, but different, but that kind of iconic character that's been in the original Movie Rights movie, as well as two sequels. He's about to direct Movie Rights Part 4. He's also going through a divorce when his wife is murdered. And then he has to solve that murder and exonerate himself and find out who is it that's imitating his character, which is named Simon Rocal.
Nice. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be dropping by and we're going to get a picture of that the new published copy, correct?
Well, I'm writing that novel now. It's not published. I have a novel that's not a horror film right now. It's one of the best I've written, called Dealey Plaza. It is not about the Kennedy assassination. It only starts with the assassination, but it deals with 40-plus years of violence in this country, the mass shootings, the shooting rampages, and everything else that's been going on that I feel, and Tom Brokaw also feels, was started with the Kennedy assassination. So this novel deals with 40 years of this kind of history and the lives of its main characters. It's only been out a few months, and it has 18 5-star reviews on Amazon, and it's a Writer's Digest Select book.
Well, thank you, John, for joining us in this interview. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
Well, as far as fans go, I say the same thing to them that I always say. Without the fans, we'd be nowhere. So we really respect the fans, and we're glad to have them, and glad to welcome them to conventions such as this one. This is Epic Con. I'll be at Ohio University giving a talk there next week. And I just came from last weekend. I was in Rock and Shock with friends of mine, the band Guar, who were the featured performers, and we had a great time hanging out with them and with Christina Klebe, who's going to have the lead role in my movie Escape of the Living Dead if it ever gets green-lighted. It's hung up by a Hollywood company right now.
Well, what's going to get it past the ropes?
I don't know. Probably if I cut off a horse's head and put it in bed with him.
I think it'd be a good taste of flavor from your side. Well, thank you, John, very much for
you're welcome.
being on.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy Epicon.
Well, they're born Siamese twins.
It's been a while,
They get cut apart, killed some doctors.
but now they're back.
So where are they?
We're friends. We can help you.
Your favorite twins have returned.
Now I understand you feel comfortable sleeping in a basket.
They found some new friends.
There are others here like you. Others who have been hurt and need to be hidden and sheltered.
And they're up to no good again.
You're empty!
I understand your pain, but ripping the faces off people may not be in your best interest.
I got a great idea. 4-part anniversary special about your favorite twins.
The link between us is gone. I'm not a part of you anymore.
They are wanted for the murders of at least 5 people.
It's gonna be like old times.
Who is this? This is someone who knows who you are, who your brother is.
What do you want?
I thought you wanted to do a big story on this. What the hell is going on here? He wants to grant you an interview.
So excited.
The creator of Basket Case
What's in the basket?
brings you Basket Case 2.
Hey, it's okay. We're together again.
So this movie's just premiered last night. How'd it go?
It was amazing. Yeah, really surreal. Great crowd.
Was it the midnight section?
It was like a rock concert. Seriously,
Amazing.
Like, it was the cops were like dragging people off the streets. People going crazy. No, it was really amazing.
Scary. It's full on.
Yeah.
So tell us about the movie. It's a death metal movie, right?
Yeah, it's a horror comedy, splatstick, bromedy.
Bromedy,
but
I like
bromedy,
it.
yeah. But yeah, it's about 2 death metal teenagers that unleash the forces of evil and have to wrong their right to the wrong. But yeah, it's
Wrong the rights.
it's
whatever.
you know, it's great. You know, it has got that death metal horror element, but also it's you know, hopefully people find it really hilarious.
Were people laughing or past the? We actually have one mic, which is.
I think one of the coolest things last night was being in the theater and having people literally applauding after some of the really big kills. Like that was really cool for me. Like people were cheering and
It's like ancient Rome.
It is like ancient Rome. Yeah. Great. And and it's so hilarious. So it was cool to see the audience really receive that. And the comic timing in this film is brilliant. So.
That's great. Cool. Brody, tell us, Brody's your character, Milo. Tell us about what you've now melded. You're now what?
Yeah, totally.
Tell us about your character and the journey you take in this movie.
So Brody's kind of a high school loner. He gets shifted to live with his uncle because his mum tries to suck off a Santa Claus in a mall. And so his mum doesn't have a very, supportive home environment. He goes to live with his uncle.
What do you mean?
What's wrong with that?
It's a true story, by the way.
Yeah.
It is New Zealand.
Yeah, so his journey is kind of self-confidence, I guess, mainly. He really doesn't have any self-confidence to start with, but he slowly kind of builds that through his own kind of failures. Yeah, the way I would describe the movie, I was thinking about this last night, because it was the first time I saw it last night, and I feel like it's kind of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, except they listen to Slayer and it's like it's on meth. That's kind of how I describe the film. Yeah, it's full on. I literally.
On Slayer and meth.
Yeah,
Good.
I take like a weed whacker to a guy's genitals. Like that's the kind of images.
Was this fun to shoot?
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. It was definitely the most exciting project that I've ever worked on. I mean, I got to kill people and wield an axe for starters.
Dream come true.
It is a dream come true. I used to watch Buffy when I was younger, and so this is and Sarah Michelle Gellar is my idol. So this is literally a dream come true. And I think we used almost 100 gallons of blood. Is that right?
Liters.
80 liters.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Where did you shoot this?
We actually used a lot more.
Right.
Yeah, we probably
Are you
used
guys
about
Australian?
200.
What's the deal?
New Zealand.
From New Zealand.
Yeah, we filmed it all in New Zealand.
That's the last one. We're going.
There's not one cheap joke in the whole film either.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, that is extraordinary. Actually.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
But there's a lot of dick jokes.
That you have those over in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Either.
Universal, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the interesting things for me last night was watching people get what I thought were quite New Zealand jokes.
Yeah.
They were very kind of local things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still wondering whether people know. We were talking about this morning. What a tarp is.
Oh yeah, tarp. No, everyone got that. Everyone
got it?
A tarp, like a big plastic.
Yeah, tarpaulin. Yeah, nice one.
Thanks.
Wow, you from New Zealand?
We're way sophisticated. Yeah. So, what's your hopes for this film? What would you like to see happen with it? Producers, directors, anybody?
Lots of people to go and see it.
I mean, it's not for sale.
It's for sale worldwide. And I think the film, the best thing about it is the music in the film is so strong and so singular, and Jason's taste just screams pure metal. So it's like it's going to connect with fans right around the globe. There's huge subcultures for this film.
It's a whole night out, hey? Like it's a full experience.
Yeah, Jason doesn't want to admit it, but this is very much his life story on the screen, and at its heart, it's a really sweet movie.
Are you joking?
No, there's a lot of
it's based on my teenage years. So I was a long-haired metalhead, walking around, kind of just looking at the ground. But yeah, I kind of
dreaming of weed whacking people.
Yeah, it's kind of like my fantasy. But yeah, I mean the soundtrack's great. A lot of we've got bands from like Norway, the US, Australia, New Zealand. So it's a really great mix. And I also think people that aren't even into metal will kind of love it for that. Everyone kind of knows a metalhead, or you see them on the streets.
Totally.
So everyone will get it, I think.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills is known as a society of wealth and privilege, but Billy Whitney doesn't seem to be getting his share. He thinks everyone is out to get him, even his friends.
You never were one of us.
He thinks that he doesn't belong.
And they don't even look like me. Why are you guys doing this to me, huh?
He believes he's seeing things, bad things, beyond reality. Is it just his imagination?
I'm not paranoid. All my fears are real.
Or has Billy uncovered something terrible, something unspeakable?
Don't go home, Billy.
You've been living with these people all your life and you didn't know anything about this? If you don't follow the rules, Billy, bad things happen.
You make such a great contribution to society.
Who are you? And now Billy.
It's showtime, Billy!
Is fighting for more than just his sanity. He's fighting for his life. The time is coming for Billy to take his place. In society, it's all about fitting in.
Growing up, Night of the Living Dead was one of the first things that I ever watched in the horror genre. I think it was one of the first VHS tapes I purchased whenever I originally got my very first 13-inch color TV and VCR combo. I know you had one of those when you were a kid too, because everybody fucking did. If you grew up in that time period, for the 80s and the 90s, at some point you received a color television with a VCR attached to the bottom of it, and it was the best day of your life. So this is going to be getting to edit footage from these guys was such a pleasure. Just to have they're so courteous to sit down with Ken and talk about their experience on these films. Anyways, let's check it out.
You have to understand, I didn't mean to shoot my grandmother. It just went off 4 times and I didn't even know the bow was loaded.
Get up here. Nick, Tony, Steve, you want to get out in that field and build me a bonfire?
I'm here at the convention watching Zombie Takeover TV.
All right, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot.
Hello, my name's Ken Newman from Zombie Takeover TV, and I'm sitting here with
George Cosana.
And they're known for what?
The original Night of the Living Dead. I'm the production manager, a member of the crew, and played the sheriff in the film.
Now, I understand that, when was this movie came out? When did this come out?
We shot in 1967, and we released it in 1968 in time for Halloween.
Nice. Now, is there any kind of the production that you took in the movie? I understand there was a lot of people that were involved that did what they could to get the movie done.
Well, as an example, I went into my hometown in a bus.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in a movie? Yeah, get in a bus. He took them out on location. Everyone did that.
Mm-hmm.
We took them on location, and there were our zombies.
Now, where was this filmed at?
Evans City, Pennsylvania, the Evans City Cemetery, our studio downtown Pittsburgh, and in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Other people come to us and say, I know that was shot in Uniontown. They're wrong. That was a different film.
Now, what film was that?
That was a carbon copy of The Night of the Living Dead.
Oh.
Or it was Days of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead or one of the others in the sequel. But it was not the original Night of the Living Dead.
Nice. Now, the members that you worked with, the crew for Night of the Living Dead, are there any that you still keep in contact with any of them?
We were with George Romero last weekend in Evans City, and Russell Striner, John Russo, Gary Striner. Unfortunately, death is among us.
Yeah.
We just lost Bill Heinzman, Carl Hardman, Keith Wayne some time ago. He was the boyfriend and the girlfriend in the cellar.
Yeah.
He was the boyfriend. And Dwayne Jones, the male lead, died in around 1986. I don't know why. If he had a heart attack, an automobile accident, I don't know. But Carl Hardman's gone. Marilyn Eastman, who played his wife, is very ill in Florida with her son. And attrition is taking its toll. Vincent Zervinsky, the one who played my deputy, is gone. His brother Regis, who did the pyrotechnics, is gone. And we lost Rudy Ritchie, who played a zombie and was part of the original crew.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. And it keeps going on and on. And it's unfortunate, but that's a sad part of life.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I wish that what we can do is take the legacy of what you guys left behind and enjoy it, because I remember watching that kid. I was probably one of the first movies I'd seen when I was a little child, and I was scared, and I took that fear and I turned it into a curiosity, and I stuck to it. I love watching those old horror films.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We try to make the best film we were physically and mentally capable of making, with the hope it would produce enough income to allow us to do another. Mm-hmm. It just took off on a life of its own. Never looked back since. Everything that's out there today is either spin-off of, stolen from, pirated from, or borrowed from the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's a sad part of now this day. I mean, people when they want to say they're original, they can't be original because Romero, Russo, and your crew were the first ones to do that.
Well, George Romero and Russell Striner in 1960 founded the Latent Image Studios. We all worked there in a variety of capacities.
Mm-hmm.
We're making travelogues, documentaries, historical films, industrial films, television commercials, advertising products like Calgon and beer. And every once in a while we even got paid. And over the years we finally saved enough money to get a camera, and we said, well, we at last have the equipment, we got the crew, we know what to do, we've always wanted to make movies, let's make one. And the very first venture was Night of the Living Dead.
And it was a very good movie too. Did you want to venture out beyond Night of the Living Dead?
I have done that, in that I'm a member of the Photographic Society of America as a still photographer, and I compete internationally and through our affiliate organization called the Washington Camera Club in Washington, Pennsylvania. And I don't mean to sound as though I'm bragging or blowing my own horn.
No.
But I've won like Photographer of the Year, and I've won the Breidenbach Trophy and other awards for my still photography. And I'm also a writer. I'm published. In fact,
yeah, let's see some of this stuff you have here.
This is my latest effort. It's the first leg of a trilogy that deals with 3 distinctly different psychological disorders. This one deals with schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. Not in the sense that it explains what it is or diagnoses it. It's in the sense that you are confronted by someone who suddenly and unexpectedly crosses the line from sanity to insanity. How do you deal with it? How do you resolve it? How do you get out of it? How do you help them and get you home safe? Mm-hmm. That's what this is.
I think we all need that nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are not mentally capable of holding up.
I can't judge them. I can only say what I did.
Yeah, right.
But the second leg will deal with a teenage sociopath who exists to take revenge against all who has or who he perceives has wronged him, even to the point of committing murders, multiple murders. And he gets his in the end when given a perfect gift. And the third leg deals with an obsessive compulsive chain-smoking fanatic out to stop the government from entering into contracts with big lumber to harvest fir trees in the Pacific Northwest. And that's called One Compulsion Too Many. And these are production stills.
Yes.
That I'm offering here at the convention, and I want to thank Terry for inviting us, and I'm sorry of the problems that are arising out of this. I hope her nothing but success, and I appreciate the fact that she's honored us by inviting us, and wish her the best.
Mm-hmm. Now, this production still was taken from what?
This is another copy of that. This is where I said the line I improvised. It's not in the script. It's right here. They're dead. They're all messed up. I felt like saying it, so I said it.
And it stuck.
And it stuck. And that's what I'm here doing. I'm promoting the product, and we're in our 45th anniversary. Mm-hmm. I think we've stood the test of time.
Now, explain us the hat you have here.
This is not the original. It's similar in color. The cigars are not real, they're wooden.
Unfortunately.
This was made for me by people in Albany, New York, because they knew that my original hat, when we wrapped shooting in Evans City, I put it in a box to take it home, turned around to get something else. Somebody threw something in on top of it, crushed it, ripped it, tore it, and it had to be thrown away. So they made me this hat. This, too, is a summer straw, but of a more coarse grade. Mm-hmm. And I've had it ever since, and I've been using it. Some people offer to buy it, and I say it's not the original, then they don't want it.
Yeah, well, I guess. Well, thank you very much, sir. And are you enjoying the Epicon here?
Yes, I am. I would like to see a better turnout. I would like to see the people of the area support it. As I said, I wish her all the success in the world, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on Zombie Takeover TV. And I'm Ken Newman at Epicon, and thank you for watching.
How are they broke up?
Well, honestly, now that I think about it, now that I've fucking watched some of the shit, I think Society and Basket Case go together. It's like mutated body horror stuff. But whatever the third one on that episode would be, I don't know.
The Black Rainbow. The Black Rainbow. That way, one of mine's on. Okay, episode.
Sounds good.
Good. I haven't watched Society yet.
I got a long weekend watching movies.
I gotta watch Babysitters and Society.
I'm watching. Have you watched things? I'm watching them incrementally, like 3 things at a time. So
I gotta watch the last 20 minutes of Basket Case too.
I've got notes typed on my computer that tell me the timestamp where I stopped watching it.
I watched it today, and then Carmen came home because my computer was freezing. I was like, fucking.
Black Sheep, I watched all the way through.
Basket Case 2. I was thinking. I don't think I've seen 3. I was thinking 2 was 3.
Well, I mean, I watched 2.
I was thinking 2 was 3.
I was thinking 3 was 2, I think, or something. I don't remember fucking what I've seen so far at all.
Well, I always thought 3 was very head of the family style, but I was watching it today. I was like, this is the one.
Never seen 3 unless.
I think 3.
Belial is driving a vehicle at some point. I knew that.
I want to say, I think because I don't remember the end of this one, but the she.
2. It's 2.
The she Belial. The she Belial in 2. I don't know if she makes it out because I haven't got there yet. But what I wanted to say is, I think 3 is them two get together and make babies.
I think I have seen that image.
Have we all got to the sex scene?
I haven't got to the sex scene yet. Oh boy. Now that I know there's one of them anticipating though.
Frank's gonna jump in on that one.
Oh, that was good. That was good though. I laughed every time that part came up. Because everything's unveiled. I want to see the new resolution. I want to see what it looks like.
Well, yeah,
and then Jared's like, what do you want to see clear? And then it just degrades. All right, yeah.
Yeah, after listening to the second one, I was like, I'm going to have to self-edit. So.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm a smarmy dick.
Did someone tell you that?
No.
It sounds like something your mom would say.
No, I just listened to it and was like, wow, I'm a dick. And I wasn't even being mean. Just every time I talk, it's like, oh, Jesus, is that how I sound? That's not how I mean anything.
See what we've been dealing with?
Yeah, I feel bad. I want to take the opportunity to say the tone of voice I have spoken to you guys in my whole life shouldn't be taken that way because that's not how I've meant any of it, ever. I was just listening to myself.
I sleep sometimes.
I was listening to myself. I was like, man, I sound like a sarcastic dick.
What's funny though is I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out. Like, yeah, he's right. He's on something.
It sounded like even when I'm saying things, like even when I agree with you or be saying something nice, it sounds like I'm talking down to you. I don't even have to say anything mean.
Well, we did point it out a couple of times.
It just sounds like. Well, you pointed out when I said I read.
Oh, here we go.
Whenever you said you met Stuart Gordon.
Yeah, I was like, I met Stuart Gordon. I went to a horror convention. I thought it'd work on the show. Oh, sure. I wasn't really talking on those.
Oh God!
I just meant when I was talking in general. Wow, I sound like I'm talking down to everybody.
I like it, Jared. I think
know.
you should keep doing it.
I don't
think
know.
you can stop. I don't think it's a choice.
But listening to it, I realize that's probably how I've sounded my whole life. I don't know how I have friends.
I didn't think one thing about it.
No,
that's good.
I think it's just.
It suddenly hit me. I was like, I wonder if everyone thinks I'm talking down to them all the time. They think I'm a horrible person. I suddenly pictured myself as that guy who shows up and was like, oh, great. Look who's here. Coming to tell us how big pieces of shit we are.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm gonna try not to do that.
It might ruin the show, Jared.
I think the only way to stop it is just not talk as much.
I don't think I can.
And then you're gonna ruin it. You dick. Get out of here.
Alright, I'll see you guys Tuesday.
Right on, man. Oh my God. Holy shit.
That's spotlight.
Well, now that it's all weird, we got a recorder here, and
What are you gonna ask me, Frank?
I'm gonna ask you, how'd you?
Well, I'm gonna ask you.
I'm gonna ask you what I want to say. No, I wanted to know how you got into horror for originally. Like, what was the first movie you remember watching?
Halloween.
The original Halloween.
Yeah, and believe it or not, it was with my mom.
Wow.
We lived just down the street, a 2-story house there. And my dad was always working thirds. So I remember it was late at night. I don't remember anything about where Eric and Gary was, but Dad was at work and Mom was laying on the couch, and I don't know if she thought I was asleep or I don't know. I just can't picture my mom letting me watch. Because we moved here when I was 5, so I had to be at least 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't picture her letting me watch Halloween. But anyway, so she was laying on the couch, and I was obviously real small, so I was laying behind her. So I don't know if I was peeking my head up over top of her and watching it, or if I was watching the whole thing. But I remember I would watch it until the scary part came, and then I would dive back down behind her, pick my head up again.
Yeah.
And I always remember, I can't remember what movie specific, but we'd be watching a horror movie, and every time nudity came up, I had to close my eyes. They'd cover my eyes. Yeah. But yeah, my first memory is Halloween with my mom.
Wow. That's crazy.
Of all people.
Yeah, was it a rental or was it on TV or something? That seems like it would have to be a rental at that point. But no, I don't know.
Yeah, it probably was. What was that, 78?
Yeah.
79?
Yeah. Like
I was 4, so.
But I don't know the time period when video cassettes came out. And
I imagine it was a rental. I can remember going to video stores with them.
Yeah, that was.
And I would have to kind of like sneak away. I'm gonna go over here and look at the games, but by the time they found me, I was over in the horror section looking at the movies there.
Yeah, I hosted my parents a couple of times with. We'd go to Bennett's, and I would just bring them a tape or whatever it was. You wouldn't bring them the tape; you bring them a card, right, on the back.
I was only with Bennett's when I was with people.
He would have like
video connection, and
he would have an index card on the back of the box. You would take it up to the counter. You would show him your little shitty card because you remember, and then he would mark on your card. You'd have to sign the index card, so it was like a library. You'd go
check in a book out.
Which I assume was the same thing for his porno section. That's a little
he had
strange.
A porn section there?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was like a weird small room.
I was only in there a few times.
Oh man, you go in and on the right hand side, right away, tranny porn. Like it was hardcore, man. It wasn't like family video porn section where it's like all Playboy and Penthouse stuff. Right. He had the dirty dirt stuff in there. Big Mamacita, I think I saw.
He didn't have one of those big circle mirrors in the porn section.
No, it was a like this material. What's that? Particle board or whatever. Room. No windows or not. It was like something you'd see in a horror movie. But I would go there and I'd get I think I rented Toxic Avenger or whatever like 6-7 times, and my name was on this card, and I would always they kept letting me fucking rent it, but every time that there was a scene with some tits in it, hands over the face.
Your mom and dad was watching these movies with you?
Yes.
Toxic Avenger?
Yeah. I don't know that my dad used to watch a lot of shit like I watched back in the day.
Oh.
But yeah, fucking that's crazy that your mom was watching Halloween. I would never picture that.
That's I mean, it would be very easy for me to say that that's probably my favorite movie of all time, and besides the obvious of it being, I mean, damn near perfect.
Right.
I have that. That's my first memory on top of it. So.
Well, yeah. So I guess the Rob Zombie Halloween really pissed you off then.
I hate all the stuff that like was stuck to the original. I didn't think it was that bad. It's his writing. It's the extra stuff that he wrote.
Yeah.
He can't write worth anything.
No,
he just needs to stick to directing.
Somebody said that writing a Rob Zombie movie is basically like just shoving as many swear words and things into a conversation as you can.
Right.
And
it's awful. No thought behind it.
Why do they want to make Michael Myers look like a pro wrestler is what I don't understand. He's big, but he's not. He's supposed to be like weird and like they called him the Shape. You know, it's like
he was huge.
Yeah, he was huge, but like gangly. He wasn't like a fucking body slamming people.
I was fine with that. With it being a remake, it's a re-imaging. So
right,
I was fine once the story started to resemble the original, I liked it. But all the extra stuff that he wrote.
Yeah, I never watched the second one, so I don't know. I think that he can write his own stuff, and I accept it. Devil's Rejects. Although I haven't seen anything other than
he has a few. I
haven't seen the newer ones, Lords of Salem or the clown one. What's the 21 or whatever?
31.
31. How am I supposed to remember that shit? 21's a Jim Carrey movie.
The last round of
Horror Show.
No, you stupid motherfuckers. This is a ZTO TV podcast.